Hey, this is Craig Ballantyne, and welcome back. This is another incredibly valuable bonus training video. This was called How to Quit Drinking, because this was my worst habit, but this is also a complete step-by-step on how to destroy all bad habits, whether it's overeating, whether it's gossiping, whether it's smoking, whether it's anything at all. This is going to give you the fundamentals, foundation, baseline for you to change your life. And I mean, honestly, if you didn't even watch any other video in this entire course and you have a bad habit that needs fixing, this is the video that's going to give you a 10 times return on your investment in time and in money, because this is near and dear to my heart, as you'll see here in a second. So I want you to meet my dad. That's Howard Ballantyne. He passed away. Geez, we're going on nearly 15 years now. And he died too early, too soon, because he was only 69 years old, and he died because he drank himself to death. Now, he became an alcoholic around when I was 8 years old. I don't know why. Obviously, when you're a kid, you don't really talk about why your dad started drinking, but he drank himself to death, and it was very unfortunate because he didn't have to do that. Now, on the right side, you see me. This is a few years after I gave up binge drinking. So despite my dad's mistakes, it didn't stop me from drinking in my teenage years, all through college, and even in my late 20s. It was one of the contributors to my anxiety attacks. But fortunately, for whatever reason, I was able to overcome it. I was able to quit drinking. I've been able to quit cursing, so I don't curse or swear. I don't drink alcohol. I've never smoked. And I don't really have any other bad habits other than I'm still fighting a little bit of impatience. All right. But I've even overcome being an introvert. I've overcome social anxiety, many bad habits. And I want to give you the framework again so that you can overcome whatever it is that is in your way. All right. Because if you're here, you're human. Every human struggles with something. And I really believe that these are universal steps to overcoming your big something. So we start overcoming our big something with our big why. With our big why. You know, my father never changed. He never stopped drinking because the big why, he never thought about it. You know, even though his family should have been his big why, he never dipped into that. But when you have a big why, when you have a reason to change, we've seen people do incredible things in life. You know, remember that movie where that guy like cuts his arm off? You know, he's hiking, I forget, it was like 28 days or something, or 28 hours or whatever the movie was called. He cuts his arm off. Like, he had a big why to survive. He went to extreme levels to survive. He had a big why. He wanted to get home to his family. Now, I hope that you never, ever, ever, ever are in a situation like that. But when you have a big why, you can move mountains in your life. It will summon up energy, focus, and discipline. And one of the problems that we have with our discipline is that we're complacent and we don't have a big why. You know, maybe you're like I am. More money than your parents ever had, more money than you ever thought you had, more success than you ever thought you had. I've written 3 books. It's like there were times in the past where I struggled with complacency, but I remembered my big why. My big why is Michelle, my wife. My big why is my future family. My big why is my freedom. And so that gets me back to work all the time. So when you want to change something, think about your big why. I knew that I couldn't be an alcoholic and have a great family, so I had to change. Number 2, define success. Define success. Usually when people are setting goals, they say they want to get to the next level. They want to get back in shape. They want to do this. They want to get rich. That is not a definition worthy of achieving the goal. It has to be specific. So be very specific when you define success and what it looks like to you. What exactly do you want to achieve? What do you want to start doing? And what do you want to stop doing? Take out a scrap piece of paper, write that down right now. What exactly do you want to achieve? Do you want to go from drinking 5 nights a week down to 1 night a week? Do you want to go from using weed every night to not using it at all? Do you want to go from, using pornography to not using pornography at all? What is it that you want to change? What is the definition of success for you? Trust me, I have helped people overcome every bad habit. You cannot list a bad habit that I haven't not helped some, the young guys with the Tinder and older people with alcohol, everything in between. And again, we're human. We're human. We are wired to make mistakes, and it's okay. Give yourself some grace, forgive yourself, but now write down What do you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? I should add that one in. Big why. What's the big why driving you to this? What do you want to start doing? And what do you want to stop doing? Now we're very, very clear. We're going to know when we've achieved success. And we're going to know when we're not yet there. Okay, so that's very important. Next, number 3 is build your unstoppable mindset. Your unstoppable mindset starts with self-talk. It starts with your self-identity, right? Believing who you are, believing what you're capable of. It starts with stopping the negative self-talk. Again, if you tell yourself, I'm always late, you will never be on time, right? It's self-fulfilling, the self-talk. So you must switch it, and you must understand what you are capable of. Then you make a promise. You make a small promise to yourself, like getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You don't hit snooze, which means you kept a promise to yourself. That builds your confidence. That builds your unstoppable mindset. Make sure you read my book, Unstoppable. So it's about me overcoming my anxiety attacks. Gives you all the tools to overcome big problems in your life. Make sure that you read Relentless by Tim Grover, which is another book. I personally have read that 3 times in my life because I was going through some struggles in my business the first time that I read it. And I would read like 2 or 3 pages and made me want to run through a wall. And I would go and do something that moved my business ahead. So Relentless by Tim Grover, Unstoppable by Craig Valentine, and Man Up by Bedros Keuilian. I know. It may offend you, the title, but trust me, the content won't. It'll show you how to build personal discipline first. Then it'll help you build discipline for your team, for the others around you, and for your future. So go through those books to build your unstoppable mindset. The next thing, you'll hear this over and over and over again in this course: toss the toxic temptations, destroy the distractions, negate the negative environments. Success is so much simpler when we remove the baggage. Imagine someone went out to run a marathon, like one of those skinny marathon record holders, but then we made him drag a 300-pound suitcase. It doesn't matter what kind of training the guy does. It doesn't matter if he has a green juice every morning. Adding good things into his life will never make him run faster other than getting rid of the negative 300-pound luggage, right? And that's the same for us going through in life. We can do the cold showers. Great. We can, force ourselves to, get one of those alarms that's really loud, put it across the room. Great, helpful. But if we continue with negative self-talk, if we continue with distractions in our life, if we continue with bad environments, those temptations will pull us down more than adding those good things will ever move us ahead. So look at your life. When it comes to drinking, it's very clear. You can say the serenity prayer and drink water and go to the gym 6 days a week. But if you go to a pub or a bar on Friday night or Saturday night, you've got no hope. You must stay out of those negative environments. If it's overeating, then you must stay out of environments that tempt you to overeat. You need to stop watching television. You actually need to stop looking at billboards, because on those, there's just so many ads out there. That's one thing. I'm Canadian. I spend a bit of time in America. And every time I go to America, I'm like, I don't understand how everybody's not 400 pounds with the amount of food that is served, the amount of food that is available, the amount of food marketing. It is incredibly difficult. And so you must remove yourself from that sort of thing. Even when you're using Waze, I don't know if you ever use the app Waze, but even when you're using Waze, you get Dunkin' Donuts and you get Chick-fil-A ads, and it's nothing but ads for food. You got to remove that. You got to remove that as much as possible, okay? Keep your mind focused on the good behaviors and remove the temptations, distractions, and remove yourself from negative environments. And often it means spending less time with negative people. It's difficult, but this is for you, and it's a huge change that you have to make. Then you have to build better habits. I've talked about this before. If you have a bad habit and you remove it from your life, there's a vacuum and a void here. And your body and brain is used to doing something. So it might be that you get home from work and you go immediately and have a cocktail. Okay, if you stop doing that, your brain is wired to come home and immediately go to your chair and sit there with a cocktail. And so if you don't figure out a way to circumvent that nervous system, you will end up doing that again, right? So if you say, oh, I'm not going to drink, and you go in and you sit down in your chair, and the next thing you know, you're like, just doesn't feel right without a cocktail. And you go and make one, and you never break that loop. And I know this because when my father was alive, ever since I was a kid, he would always eat candy at night beside his bed while watching television. And I would go home from school every single day, and I would go in our big giant farmhouse, and I'd go up 2 flights of stairs up to where the bedrooms were. Instead of going to my bedroom, I'd go immediately to the right to his bedroom where he had the candy left over from the night before, and I'd eat it all up, right? And I did that from age like 7 to 18. And then even when I came home from weekends in college, I did the same thing. So when he passed away, for the first 3 to 6 months after, I would go home once in a while to help my mom sort out his affairs and stuff, like all the stuff you have to deal with when somebody passes away. And even though he had been gone for 2 months, I would go up the stairs and I would go into his room looking for candy, because I hadn't replaced that with a new behavior. So if you go home and you get into a bad behavior, or if after dinner you sit down in front of Netflix and next thing you know, you've watched 6 hours of Netflix, and you do that every single night, you go to that same chair and you say, I'm not watching Netflix tonight, but you go to the same chair and you're in the same clothes, you need to replace it. You need to fill that void with a new habit, whether it's a walk or whether it's a book or whether it's you doing something with your family. You must replace the bad habit with the good. Out with the old and add the new. Otherwise, you're going to get sucked back into that activity, because that's a path of least resistance, is going back to the old behavior. Next up is the power of positive people. You must find your tribe, and you have found your tribe here in this program. There are so many great people. We're like-minded. We all want to achieve more. We want to do less of the bad time-wasting activities, the stuff that doesn't fulfill us. We might still want to work a lot. There's nothing wrong with working a lot on something that moves ahead, and we're all kind of wired that way. And so if most of the time you're out there in lonely entrepreneur island or lonely high performer island, and it's just you and nobody around you understands you, nobody gets you, whether it's your family or your in-laws or the guys you play sports with or the girls you play sports with or the people you do all types of other things with, and there's like, why do you do this? Why do you push so hard? Why do you want to achieve so much? And it's like, you can't explain it to them. But the power of the positive people that you found here in this tribe, we understand. So bring your questions, bring your comments, bring your support to the calls each week. Get involved, find this tribe and stick with this tribe. This is how you're going to get to the next level. This is how you get out of drinking, right? So I was able to harness the power of positive people in the people that I already was spending time with and the new people that I was spending time with. So there were a few of my friends who also didn't want to drink, and we would do stuff. We would get together, and instead of meeting up on Friday or Saturday night and going out drinking, we would meet Friday morning or Saturday morning, and we'd go for hikes, we'd play golf, we'd go for a workout. I'd still be able to be friends with them, but not getting into drinking. And then there were the new people that I added to my social circle, the people who I'd go to seminars with and conferences with and travel to workouts with and workout seminars with and film workout videos with and become certified in my turbulence training programs with it. And I had brought all these new people into my world, and some of them didn't drink. Some of them had one beer maybe, and most of them wanted nothing to do with alcohol. And now I'm around people and I've got a place to be with positive people, but without negative behaviors. So find the power of positive people. Next is public accountability. I've quit drinking. I've quit cursing. You will never see me drink. You will never hear me swear. I've told you this. I've told people on the internet over and over and over again. Millions of people know this. Millions. And so I've got two choices. I can either slink around, going into an airport bar and like sipping a beer in the corner, which I'm not going to do, or I can live strong and live proud and just, never drink because I'm not worried about somebody catching me not drinking because that's what I said I was going to do, right? So getting public accountability is key. Public accountability is a secret ingredient to success. It can help you move mountains in your life. My friend Xander Fryer wanted to find the love of his life. And I said, Xander, you got to go and tell everyone that you know that you want to find this person. Because, it's the definition of insanity is you doing the same thing over and over again, which is you hardly looking and looking in the same spots. You haven't found this person. So he went and he told thousands of people in his Facebook group and his business. And sure enough, a few months later, he found the love of his life by getting public accountability. Because people said, how can I help? Who can I introduce you to? Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. The definition of results is getting accountability. because you share your goals and we're going to hold you to them. That's the key. So if you want to give up drinking, you want to give up pornography, you want to give up cigarette smoking, you want to give up overeating, you want to start exercising and finally stick to it, whatever it is, you got to tell the world. You got to tell the world. I promise you, it'll make a huge difference. You also do need to give yourself grace. Nobody quits a bad habit the first time. For me, I wanted to take up meditation in 2006 when I had my anxiety attacks. I failed at it almost every year. Basically, every year I try it. And for one reason or another, I would fail. I remember one time I was just like, I'm going to do my own version of meditation. I'm just going to lie on the floor on a yoga mat. And I would fall asleep within 3 minutes. And it's like, oh, this is not working. So I quit. And 11 months later, I tried again. It wasn't until 2013 that I finally figured out a way to do meditation my way. And I did 1 minute for a week. I did 2 minutes for a week. I did 3 minutes for a week. And eventually I built up. And now I haven't missed a day since January 28th, 2013. And I gave myself grace for messing up at first. I gave myself grace for when I wanted to quit binge drinking and I'd go 3 months and then all of a sudden, have, I don't want to say how many beers with an old college buddy and wake up hungover. But when I did that, I woke up the next day and I said, every minute that I'm awake is a minute that I move away from my mistake. That's a good one. I've never said that way before. Every minute I'm awake is a minute I move away from my mistake. I gave myself grace and I got back on track. And that's what you need to do too. Number 9 is change your identity. We've gone deep on this. You change your identity from, I just drink too much, to, I'm the type of person who's quitting drinking, to, I've quit drinking. I don't drink anymore. I don't drink anymore. And I love life and I can be fun and I can go anywhere and I don't need a drink. That's who I am. I can walk into a bar and I can say, hey, I'll have a water, a soda water, whatever it is, no alcohol though, and I'll sit here. One of my friends used to drink 20 beers every time, we'd have a guy's day out. I mean, this guy could drink. And he decided to quit drinking. He now drinks non-alcoholic beers, like 15 or 20 of them at a time, but it's not alcoholic. I mean, it's enough alcohol in the non-alcoholic beers to get a small woman drunk, but he's not going to get drunk. And I mean, no one can believe that this guy who once drank 20 beers at every social outing could do it, but he changed his identity. He said, I'm not a drinker anymore. He's a drinker of non-alcoholic beer, which, you and I probably can't believe anybody drinks it, but he does. But he's changed his identity. He doesn't need alcohol to have a good time anymore. He just likes the taste of beer. All right. So this is a major key. You can change your identity. And when you do that, you're going to get your bad habits, kick them to the curb. All right. And then finally, never, ever give up. Never, ever give up on what is important to you. It's okay to give up on things that aren't important to you. Like when I took up meditation in 2013, for the 4 weeks before that, I was trying to take up chess. And I realized I don't care about chess. And so it's okay for me to give up chess because I don't care about it. But it's not okay for me to give up meditation because I knew meditation would help me. I needed to keep anxiety away forever. And I decided to never give up on it. And never give up on finding Michelle, never give up on my marriage, never give up on my kids, never give up on my health, never give up on my family, right? There are things I'm never going to give up on, and you can't give up on this, all right? So always remember that. And when you have that in place, along with the change in identity, all those other things are really tactics, and these are the big strategies that are going to help you win. All right, my friend, just imagine, like, if you do the math. If you drink once per week and, your drinking outing was 3 or 4 hours, and then you slept poorly, and then, you were hungover for a couple hours in the morning, but tired all day, you're really losing 15 hours every week if you drink once a week to alcohol. And I just gave you those 15 hours back if you quit. 15 hours. I don't even know what that is in a year. 750 hours. Like it's 20 work weeks I just gave you. All right. So let's kick these bad habits to the curb and go out there. It's effortless. Trust me, it will be. Success is simple, my friend. So let's go and do it.